Picture a world once booming with rail, a world built with trains that are now all but extinct. This was an old world, but a peaceful one. Citizens of this world would travel quickly and efficiently. They got where they need to go and did what they need to do. This world seems distant and unfamiliar, but in fact, it's rather well known. We, as inhabitants of the present time, cannot live or see this world. We can only learn about it in the history books. Think back to the 1900s. This railroad world was Ohio.
Once upon a time, happily ever after. These are common fairy tale beginnings and endings. However, this story isn't a fairy tale. This is a brief glimpse into the past, a nonfiction novel written by those who lived in the time period, those who gave us what we have today, a grand city. Back then, life was different. People would travel on trains daily. Freight would be carried and transported effortlessly and hastily. Interurban rail, one form of rail transit, was a forerunner to passenger rail. These interurbans were ways of transportation from small farms to cities, and would transport people from outlying areas to more urban sites. Ohio had the largest interurban railroad transportation system in the nation. Although interurbans were developed after railroads, railroads are still the most important part of the growth and advancement of Columbus and Ohio in general. Railroads were essential to everyday life. These would constantly transport valuable resources from mines and farms to the major cities and industrial centers. Without the ease of transportation, expansion of Ohio cities would have never occurred. Horse and buggy were often too slow and expensive to carry goods long distances, and canals and river transport only could deliver and transport materials to cities and places on the water. Not to mention, they were often also slow and expensive as well. When the knowledge and technology of railway transit came over from England in the early 1800s, a whole new world emerged. Railroads completely changed America. People could travel 10 times quicker than the traditional ways, such as wagon, horses, or boat. Railroads also took them exactly where they needed to go, and because of this, there were many changes that took place. Railroads in Ohio made it the most important hub of industry in the United States. Goods would often have to travel through Ohio to get where they needed to go, and this made Ohio prosper. These freight trains and passenger trains would often run on the same lines, and in Ohio there was over 9,000 miles of track in the early 1900s. Nowadays, the majority of these lines have been converted into bike and walking trails. People have destroyed some of Ohio's proud history. Even most of the railway cars have been sold off or recycled. In present Ohio, only two major types of railroads are still running, CSX and Norfolk Southern. This is quite remarkable, seeing there was over 150 railways running from the mid-1800s to the 1900s. All the railroads made Ohio flourish. Not only did they transport goods and materials faster and better than ever before, but they also initiated thousands of jobs in Ohio alone. Most of these jobs were lost when the railroad era ended. However, in the past, when all these jobs and activity was going on in Ohio, many businesses and companies saw Ohio as the next frontier of industry. They moved here into Ohio and helped the economy blossom even more. Many companies in Ohio now started off during the railroad era. Without the railroads, it is apparent that Ohio would not be what it is today. Sadly, most of the railroads and trains have been lost or destroyed, and Ohio is suffering due to this. What is coming up next, you will see why we need to bring rail transit back to Ohio.
Man, I'm exhausted. Water, please. Man, I wish there was a way for me to get to Cincinnati one time for the Reds game.
Why are you so tired, boy?
See, man, I had to get to the Cincinnati's Red game one time. I asked all my friends if they'd give me a ride there, but they're busy this weekend. Scheduled for a transit, but that was canceled. So for 4.5 hours, I had to be on the bike to get to the game, and then travel 4.5 hours to get back to Columbus. I wish there's another way.
Don't you know there's a 3C rail plan that gets you from Cleveland to Cincinnati?
Are you talking about the new train system plan they're having here?
Why, yes, I am.
Oh man, that'd be delightful if we had that here right now. Tell me more.
Well, right now they're talking about covering the old passage so that you can have a bike plan.
So, what you're telling me is having the old train tracks, putting pavement over it so I can ride all over it. Man, that would be perfect. What else? Are they gonna have some type of station in it?
Why, yes, sir, they are. You can take showers and even leave your bike there.
Oh man, that would be perfect. Maybe get my bike repaired a couple of times. Maybe give me some grub while I'm there. Oh, thanks, old lady. Thank you. Whew.
Today, there is no passenger train service between Columbus and Cincinnati. You can see how the 3C rail can help Ohio. The potential for this 3C rail and passenger rail in Ohio is huge. In the past, a trip from Cincinnati to Cleveland took almost 7 hours. With the 3C rail, it would take about 4. The price of a 30-mile trip back then was about $1.50, and with inflation today, that would cost about $35. That won't even get you to Springfield, Ohio. With the 3C rail, for $35, you could travel from Cincinnati to Cleveland, and with high-speed rail coming to Ohio in the future, the time of that travel will shorten significantly.
Hi guys, we are the Rail Rangers. Yeah! I'm multimodal. I make sure everybody gets on time.
I'm vibrant. I keep things clean and pretty.
I'm community-based, and I boost revenue for Columbus.
I'm interface. I get you anywhere you need to go. Just with my handy, dandy schedule. Gotta go!